Africa. Welcome. This is Squawk with Bruce Whitfield. Or maybe not. I'm Arabile Kumet, and after 37 episodes, yes, I know it's an odd number, but after 37 episodes of the craziest market show on TV, we've decided to look back at the great moments, the funny moments, the moments that made you laugh, and the parts that you didn't see, but will still be called fantastic moments.
And I was buying a bottle of jam from this particular outlet, full of sugar, very sweet. I turned around, and there's the kid's dentist.
There you are.
Put it back.
There you are.
And we got a pair of your shoes. As you can see, these are enormous shoes. What we would like you to do, please, is give these to Jacques Silly. I've got another one on the floor, which I can't reach right now. And say to him, Jacques, the people on Squawk, on CNBC Africa, would like you to try and fill these shoes. You think you must have had a fabulous conversation with the man who runs Protea Hotels, Arthur Gillis, and he was sitting in one of these aquarium restaurants in Dubai, and he says, and having a radio interview with him, and he says, yeah, I'm just having a look, I'm choosing my dinner as I speak to you. And the fish past, he says, I've identified what I'm having for supper. Big on innovation. You've changed the way in which South Africans think about banking. That's got to be the biggest load of poppycock. Imagine how much more you could get in your day if you had flip pads.
But I've got pinball.
But the focus of our alternative investment this evening on Contrarian View is a piano from Casablanca. They remember it when it was still in colour. We could fetch more.
1994. No.
Coming up on this first episode of Squawk. Thank you for joining us on Squawk. I'm Bruce Whitfield. You're watching CNBC Africa, first in business worldwide. I don't know if anybody's watching, but it is Valentine's night. If you're watching this, then you've got money but no friends. And not one, but two Raging Bull Awards for David Shapiro. All of this coming up in the next 30 minutes. On CNBC Africa, as we unpack the week's most influential news and markets data. What do we say? Data. It is CNBC after all. Let's get into the real world of mining then, because it's been a particularly good week. Platinum price went over $1,700 an ounce. The rand has been soggy. So, I mean, here we've got Northam up more than 10% on the week. Lonman's had a really nice bounce back. Good results from Lonman. And Lonman's beginning to be nice to its workers. Maybe there's a future for it. Rico Marie quitting as chief executive of Standard Bank. I figured he'd give it another year, David.
The fact is that people are going out of gold, going out of platinum, because it was the investment, the investors that actually were responsible for pushing the price up. It's not the physical demand. So the prices are not going anywhere. The rand's giving up a bit. But I think we're in for a tough industry.
For the first time in a long and illustrious career, your investment genius has paid off.
I was going to say to you, I can't exactly call it an overnight success. You know?
One issue we haven't touched on the show this evening has been the scandal in the construction sector. I mentioned in my headlines. It turns out that listed construction companies have been behaving like bucky builders. You can't trust them either.
I think it's I think it's an industry that has to regenerate itself, revitalize itself, and actually find out what it's there for.
But I think the history has been there. They've got the right strategy, and it's going to probably bear fruit going forward.
So First Rank continues to outperform.
I think so, and I think they're continuing to get people. They're getting people. Today, you're not stuck with your manager. You haven't got the relationship. You just got a relationship with the computer.
Controls. But it's almost like deja vu. We've seen this story somewhere before in terms of rising costs, labor unrest, and deeper, darker deposits with lower grades. I'm not too sure that you can possibly own South African mines, and that's in light of some interesting words from Mark Cutifani yesterday.
It allows them to conjure up the most extraordinarily detailed risk profile on each and every single individual member. You think vitality is for fun? No, they want to see if you're going to die by the time you're 50, or maybe live beyond 50 in an unhealthy fashion because you haven't been going to gym, because you haven't been buying your fruit and veg at Pick and Pay or at Woolies. Years ago, banks had corporate deal flows. They did lots of transactions. There was lots of trading on and off balance sheet. Their customers were doing very well and were borrowing lots of money and paying back the interest, which is always good for banks. And then things slowed down a bit, so they started raising their bank charges for business and for personal customers. And then that wore thin, and they've started having to cut the prices of their bank charges. And then they went into microlending. What is the next trick in the arsenal, because it feels to me that they've done everything they can. And a little bit like Mampela Rampele launching her political platform at a time where Oscar Pistorius was dominating the news, she really didn't get enough airplay on that. Comair comes out with a quite sensational story that it is taking SAA, Department of Transport, the Treasury, public enterprises to court because of what it regards as the illegal support of SAA.
The rumours circulating is that they burnt Jeff Riggle very fast. They cremated him the next day. No one's quite sure whether he was in that coffin. So
I've heard this gossip as well. I've heard this gossip as well.
Yeah.
So Did Jeff have wiggle room?
Yeah. Bruce, when you go through the results, I think what it does do, it just identifies how bad things are, literally underground. Very difficult, and the share price now has retreated to where it was in 2001.
NAHAU and the Public Servants Association of South Africa have challenged the minister's decision, saying it contravenes government policy. Wouldn't you wish more government ministers would contravene government policy? Not in a Dina Pule kind of contravening government policy kind of way, but more in a Pravin Gordhan contravening government policy kind of way. And it is market madness, Paul Theron. I mean, 43,000 on the all-share index on Wednesday. The market has only been more expensive than this in PE terms 3 times in the last 50 years.
Now, Bruce held up well during the whole TV thing, but there were moments where Mr. W wasn't as suave and as impeccable as you see on screens.
Rather just change it to just don't do it.
Who allowed him onto the show?
Now, there's never a dull moment with Bruce on the set, and this next insert tells you how come.
2 objects are visible from space. One is the Great Wall of China,
You know,
and the other is the gap in Arsenal's defence. You know, Viv doesn't know the story. Only David Shapiro goes down to breakfast in his hotel at a conference, and a little old man beckons him over and says, "Come and sit over here." So David takes his, it wouldn't be bacon, but he takes his eggs, puts them down, says, "Hello, I'm David. Who are you?" "Oh, I'm the president of Colombia." I like to describe it as the octopus budget. If you superimpose Pravin Gordhan's face onto an octopus, you then take the 8 legs of the octopus, you pull them all in different directions, you get the big surprised look on the octopus face.
Naspers has gone there. Who else is there? You know, a lot of companies.
They own Playboy in Brazil. Does Naspers.
One of the places I'd love to go to is Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
I think there's a huge amount of innovation that happens there. Silicon Valley gets a lot of the
Let me just
credit.
tell you something about the Jewish community. Every company has got 10 MDs, okay?
Do you know how many ties David Shapiro has? He once confessed to me he had more than 200. Since then he's gone up to at least 250.
Bruce, when are you going to spend time on a 10,000-foot yacht or something like that? You know, especially if you're
I'd like the opportunity if you don't mind.
That's why I say my next life I'm going to work for big companies.
Go become a banker.
Go big, yeah.
Yeah, go become a banker.
I also want to drive a Bentley.
People have been saying such nice things. You wonder why they don't tell you that, you know, while you're doing your job. But
Now, we're going to have a
thank you.
bet, though. How many, what is it, Twitter followers do you think he'll have next year?
12.
12. I'll go through that. We'll bet on that.
And it won't stop you
I'll
tweeting,
take
by
the
the
case
way.
of wine, okay? I'd still rather live in Cape Town where the roads are, where the robots work and the roads are well paved and so on.
Oh, please, you're not allowed to jump a traffic light in Cape Town.
And they don't know
Where's the
how to
fun in
drive
that?
either.
Precisely.
Yes.
Always hang back when you see a CA number plate in you always hang back. Walnuts used to be the preserve of emperors, so there's a strong historical issue within China, I suppose, because they had Marco Polo had to bring them in. You couldn't grow walnuts in China. I don't know.
Is it the
I wasn't
seed?
there.
Is it the?
I have
is
no
it the
idea.
seed?
I
Now,
have
why
no
I'm
idea.
saying that? It's just. Don't you remember in the when was it, in the mid 1700s? You weren't around, nor was I. But I mean,
Ian, the tulip bubble. So what we did earlier was we went and broke into your house, and we sent a cat burglar in, and we got a pair of your shoes. As you can see, these are enormous shoes. What we would like you to do, please, is give these to Jacques Silly. I've got another one on the floor which I can't reach right now, and say to him, Jacques, the people on Squawk on CNBC Africa would like you to try and fill these shoes. You can learn a lot, Nick Norman Smith, about the dress code. You're quite conservative this evening, man, but quite conservative.
Not quite, because I must just pull this out of my jacket and say this is about as close as I could possibly get to that tie you disliked so much the last time around, and I'd love to see you wear this on air.
You would love, I'm sorry, but there is, okay, there is a mix, it's a mixture of, okay, let's have a look at it.
I think I counted that, 7 colors in total. So
Awesome.
like I say, in total, as close as you're going to get in the local market.
It's astonishingly fetching. Thanks very much for that. I most certainly will wear it. It has a little saffron. You see the saffron. It's not yellow. It's saffron, a bit of pink. It's
glad to contribute to your style, your sense of style.
Well, yeah, you're contributing to something. I'm not sure if it's a sense of style, but thank you very much. Let's talk market activity.
The publication of this, it's actually how the postman's going to deliver it.
Do you know, David, I think your wife is trying to get hold of you because she's phoning me again and she's telling me that, actually, no, it's my wife at home. I'm terribly sorry about that. How unprofessional. Darling, go to bed and I'll speak to you later. Righto. Such an amateur. Go on, Chris Gilmore. I know you want to. Okay, I'll tell you what. You can either say, otherwise you have to go. You can either say Srinivasan Venkatakrishnan or Nonkululeko Nyembezi Haja. You choose.
Oh, no, that's easy. Nonkululeko and oh no, I got it wrong. Man, I've been practicing that for so long.
So that's where we're going, humankind, off to Mars.
And they've got Wi-Fi there, though.
Not yet, but they will have. Once Elon's been up and Elon's
I
just want to call home, that's all. Hi, Linda, this is where I am.
We're off to a quick ad break now. When we return after this, we have more of the best of Bruce, so stay tuned.